All right. DAO Talk episode 5. I'm Tommy.
Let's go. It's Frisson.
And we are back. It's your one-stop shop for everything DAOs. This week, Frisson is in New York City, and I will be there in a couple of days. So next week, we will be together, and that's when we will meet for the first time in person.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be just like when David and Ryan from Bankless met in person for the first time. Like similarly big deal. Yeah, that's true. It's probably a bigger deal. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Exactly. I'm at the Tally office in Soho right now, acting like I've been to New York before, and I'm not just like, a redneck from Utah. It's cool. It's been fun so far.
Is this your first time in New York City?
No, I've been there as a kid, like on, vacation.
Oh, it doesn't count.
Yeah. But
this is your first real experience.
Yeah. So I'm stoked to be here.
So, this week will be, a little bit shorter. We got a lot going on with DAO NYC. So this week is hot takes only. We're going to be flying through everything that's happened this week in the DAO space. So if you like shorter episodes, this one's for you. We're going to keep it hot, keep it moving, and let's get into it. All right, first things first. Some more news out of the Nouns DAO ecosystem. Frisson, you want to jump into what exactly is happening? I don't think it's necessarily specific to something we've talked about previously, but it kind of goes off, how that ecosystem is kind of just has its hands in everything and is creating these primitives within the DAO space.
Yeah, exactly.
So give us a little background.
I feel like I've been a little harsh on governance only ERC20 tokens. Honestly, maybe not too harsh. I still think they're going to zero, but I feel like what we should focus on is what are alternatives, right? What are new ways we can try different mechanisms for DAO governance? None of them are going to be perfect, but when we try new things, we learn what doesn't work and what does work and keep moving forward. And so, I think we've talked about Nouns as a really interesting kind of approach to governance, where the NFT is the governance token, and then the treasury kind of ends up being mostly an ETH because they have this continuous fundraising mechanism where they auction off a noun every day. And that it makes it so that they have a pre-diversified treasury, like ETH is the highest quality asset that you can own in crypto, and definitely has a very different risk profile from governance token NFTs. And then also you have automatic liquidity on that treasury asset as well, because it's ETH. So not to mention this continuous fundraising mechanism. So theoretically, it creates potential for treasury growth, sustainable treasury growth as well. So basically the Nouns DAO community ecosystem, these contracts are open source, right? And so they're trying to figure out how to make them useful, how to other DAOs. How can we help other DAOs experiment with the similar or same kind of nouns mechanism? And I'm excited to see that happen more. I don't think a lot of projects have done it yet. There's actually a really interesting NFT project called Degen Dogs Club that's on Polygon that uses Tally for governance with a similar mechanism. But I would love to see other they don't even have to be, I think, NFT art projects. They could just be any protocol or mechanism that wants to try this kind of NFT governance approach, give it a shot with the Nouns kind of mechanism.
Okay, Frisson, can you give us? I kind of want to do this because I've had some people I think it's important if let's try to distill this down. Can you describe what is the value proposition of this style of governance in 30 seconds or less? Do you think you could do it? You want to try?
Well, first of all, it's really easy. Sentences. First of all, it's
okay. Hold on. I'm starting the clock. Ready? 3. You got 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. It's really easy because they built this primitive where you can deploy a nouns builder in one click. It allows for continuous funding because you auction off a new noun every day. The governance token is an NFT, which just has different properties and different potential to accrue value than an ERC20 token. And then you're raising a treasury in ETH, which is the most liquid and best asset in crypto.
26.84. That was beautiful.
You're welcome, Nouns Builder community. For that, like
that'll be clipped.
chill.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the overall theme, I think, of this week's episode, just based on what we've been talking about and prepping for this, is around like DAO governance and alternatives to token voting. I think this bear market in particular has shown us, at least, I mean, we've been talking about it since week one of this podcast, but like tokens are probably all going to go to zero, and we need different solutions to that problem. Because if, again, like I say it all the time, like if we don't want to look back and view this as the DAO experiment, I think the way governance functions now, as like for the majority of DeFi protocols or DAOs that are operating, it's broken. And you'll see some of the other things we'll cover this week. A lot of very successful high up people in the space agree. And I think it is more of an existential threat than most people are talking about. And I think the sooner we can get ahead of that, the better. So,
yeah, I think I'm not trying to like pile on, the traditional governance token model, but like, I think it's really important in crypto. Look, most things don't work, and that's okay. Crypto enables lots of experimentation, rapid experimentation at scale, which is good. But once we understand as a community kind of like some of the flaws in a given design, I think it's really important that we quickly start building alternatives, because that's the only way we can learn, right? And so that's where I want to see like more DAOs with different approaches to governance. Maybe I should like really put my time where my mouth is and start a DAO. Maybe I should just do a nouns fork using the nouns builder. And I can change up the auction frequency, auction buffer time, and auction minimum increment. Tommy, you have to let me know, like, if you have some ideas for a DAO. But yeah, it's like it's really important to try new things, because that's where the learning comes from, right?
Yeah. So, all right, moving on. Again, this is a quick episode. Hot protocol. I don't know if we mentioned it last week. I think it was something that happened after we recorded last week, but Hot protocol, one of the largest bridges, correct? Is released their token, and the reason we're talking about them in particular is they joined Tally. So they are operating on Tally, and also we will have Chris Winfrey from Hot Protocol. We'll have an interview with him coming next week, so look out for that. But Frisson, give us a little, what should we care about when it comes to Hop in particular? And then we also have a couple other DAOs or big protocols that have also used Tally as well. So we'll go through those three, and then we'll move on from there. So we'll start with Hop, though.
Wow, you really hopped right into this one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessary. Like we're super stoked to have Hop on Tally. This is like definitely one of the biggest DAO launches recently. It's a bridge, a multi-chain bridge, but they're highly focused on the Ethereum ecosystem. In particular, focus on layer 2s to create and their sort of like bridge design is more trustless than a lot of what you see with like other types of cross-chain bridging. So like great team, super innovative, product from a technical perspective. And they are decentralizing. So they did an airdrop. You have to have bridged a certain amount of value over Hop to get the airdrop. But I still need to claim mine because I'm a proud Hop user. That's how I get my funds back and forth between different layer 2s and stuff, and Ethereum mainnet. So you can claim your tokens, and one of the first things they want you to do is delegate, which I think they have a delegation interface, but you can also use their DAO page on Tally to delegate, which shows like all the delegates, and like their voting history and different information about their participation in governance. They have some great folks to choose from on the delegation side, people who have experience with governance in the Ethereum ecosystem, but also like experts or stakeholders in the layer 2 space, in the bridging space. So it looks like they've been really thoughtful about who they were able to bring on board as a delegate, which is super exciting. And the DAO is live. So, you can claim your tokens, delegate, maybe make a proposal on Tally. Super stoked to learn more about what they're doing from Chris.
Yeah, I love Hop. I'm a little salty because I needed to have transferred $1,000 worth of crypto, and I transferred $984. So I will be claiming zero Hop tokens, but that's okay. That's okay.
You were so close.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good. All right.
You can drop that on Chris later, like unexpectedly. So by the way, tell me more about this $1,000 limit. You're responsible for my endless poverty, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, also here's we have our announcement from Tally. Again, super active on Tally. That's awesome. Go and check out our interface if you haven't already. Euler DAO launch is coming very soon. We have talked about that on previous episodes. I don't think we really need to touch on that. Euler Finance, great platform.
Yeah, all the innovative products are using Tally for their DAO operations. Pretty sick. Euler Finance is it's kind of like a Rari, like a permissionless borrow lend marketplace. But they use Uniswap's TWAP Oracle. Pretty cool, like super innovative team. Yeah. Stoked to have them for sure. And hoping to talk to somebody from Euler as well in the next couple of weeks on the podcast.
Yeah. So look out for that. Frisson, what's going on with this tweet? To read it out or give us just a breakdown of what's happening for the people listening.
Yeah, this goes back to what we were talking about with the nouns builder, where we want to see innovation in governance. In this case, Hazu who's like one of my favorite people in crypto space, super thoughtful. Great example of someone who like criticizes DAOs, but then, as we can see here, is trying to take steps forward to help them move forward. Is proposing like a major change to the governance structure of Lido. So, for those who aren't familiar with Lido, it is the leading liquid staking protocol for Ethereum. So, something like 25% plus of the total staked ETH supply is locked in Lido, and that is cool. Lido is a great service that provided for Ethereum stakers. But it does pose some interesting risks to the Ethereum protocol. In particular, if you look at Lido's governance today, the LDO token, which is just like your typical governance only ERC20 token, it has kind of a wide purview of what it can change in the mechanism, like in the protocol design. And some of the things that it can change could potentially endanger it kind of creates like a wider than would be ideal attack surface for Lido. And like that's, important for Lido, but also like to some extent could even be existential for the Ethereum ecosystem because of the amount of ETH that is like locked inside of Lido and staked. So this proposal from Hazu is cool because it does a couple things. One, it decreases like overall risk by kind of lowering the surface area or like lowering the scope of what can be changed with votes from the LDO token. It also adds a delay to implementation of the transaction after voting, which just is another safety valve. But then finally, it also gives governance power to staked ETH. So staked ETH is the token you receive when you stake. It's like a liquid token that you receive when you stake your ETH with Lido, and it adds some staked ETH to the mix in terms of the governance power for Lido. I think in particular, it gives staked ETH holders the power to veto things that the LDO token holders vote in. And first of all, just super interesting. Like, I don't think I've seen a mechanism like this before. But also, it solves a particular problem, which is like the token holders of LDO may not always be aligned with the holders of staked ETH. And so it kind of brings some of that back into balance. So super excited to see what happens, follow this proposal as it moves forward.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. Oh, yeah. We have a little bit of an update from a previous story back when we talked about YGG and the Merit Circle Dilemma, where Merit Circle wanted to yeet one of their investors who were due, essentially, right, Tyler, or Frisson. You know what? We're keeping that in, all right? I'm tired of... Tyler is dead to me. You are Frisson. Okay. Yeah, but So that vote that we talked about a couple weeks ago, which was essentially one DAO received an investment from another DAO, and that DAO that received the investment was not happy with whatever happened with. I don't know exactly what entailed this anger, but they Frisian, you know a little bit more about like what like just one community member put it up for a vote, and essentially the proposal got passed for Merit Circle to essentially refund the initial investment, which would have been about a $5 million plus return if they were able to redeem their tokens on the public market. But instead, Merit Circle just sent back the initial investment. So essentially, they lost a huge portion of their investment. So we can kind of talk about. I think if you want to learn a little bit more about what happened, I would just say we'll post a link to this tweet.
Yeah, you should check out this thread. The thread's hilarious. You should scroll down. Yeah. Like Tim did a really good job making this entertaining.
I think the bigger discussion here is like we've talked about like the actual like what's happening, but
members took a look and overwhelming said, "LOL, fuck them."
So yeah, the members of the DAO
talk about
wanted to yeet the investment. They said, "LOL, fuck them," and basically passed a proposal to send back their investment. So
yeah,
I think like this brings up.
Go for it. It's super interesting, right? Like on the one hand, you're like, "This is good, right?" This proposal, what is the name of the person who submitted this proposal? It's like Honey something. I think it is like legit, like a random community member, just fully. Like this is like a fully grassroots effort. Yeah, like on the one hand, it's good, right? You're like, oh, well, the members of Merit Circle DAO can democratically like look out for their own interests and kick out investors, in this case YGG, who aren't quote unquote like doing anything or adding value. So like that part of it, you're like, yay, decentralization. But then when you think about it a little more deeply, there's some problems here. So first of all, like this action, like there is some economic misalignment happening here where basically like if you think about the people who originally put their investment into Merit Circle and then are having token unlocks over time that are worth more than their original investment, like theoretically, it is in the interest of all of the current holders of Merit Circle's token to just not allow any of those investors to like finish vesting and then potentially sell their token.
Yeah.
But if that becomes a precedent, then no one is going to ever want to invest in a DAO ever again, which is potentially problematic. And then we realize like, this entire thing has like played out in traditional finance, and there's something called minority investor protection that makes it so that like you can't do this to stakeholders in Meatspace companies. And it's like this is kind of like along the lines of like crypto, DeFi, DAOs. We're going to make all the mistakes that like have ever been made in governance and finance, but quickly. So I think like this is cool to see, but also like there are very good reasons that this really isn't like a phenomenal idea, and not a good precedent for the space. So I think we'll see people observe this and then think about like, how can we potentially build safeguards to protect minority investors into DAOs, into governance structures going forward. So just another like, example of crypto speedrunning finance and governance and learning from it. It's fascinating to observe.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see, what are the long tail effects of something like that. Like I think you mentioned, like we are destined to repeat a lot of the same things that are happening in, TradFi and organizations that have existed for hundreds of years. So, but again, it's just happening faster. So we'll see, what the effects of that are. I think going straight from that, I added this one in Frisian. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but Kobe is essentially like talking about governance and one of the big issues with governance. Have you seen this?
Yeah, this is him giving his take on the like Rari, Fae Rari tribe situation, right?
So like, yeah, like very high level overview, and don't come at me if I get this, missing the nuance here, but essentially, tribe and Fae basically the same. voted on something a while back, and then it passed, and then 6 months or 6 weeks later, I don't know exactly which one it was, they put up another proposal to basically cancel out the proposal that was passed 6 weeks ago, right? So his whole point is like, well, then what's the point of governance if like if like no decisions are final, right? Like,
Yeah,
he links to a really good tweet from Degen Spartan where it's like, protocol governance explain, like snapshot vote, which color Lambo should the founder buy? And like most people say black, and then the founder responds with, dude, I like the color yellow, and then he votes yellow, and because he has so much voting power, like it switches, it's just like,
yeah, I actually,
there's so many issues
I think Degen Spartan, like, obviously, not safe for work content, and also like just relentless bag fudding. So like you have to know what you're getting into when you follow Degen Spartan. But he's actually one of my favorite people to follow because, to be honest, he spits truth, and it's like following him is like holding up a mirror to yourself and being like, what are the gaps in how I'm thinking about this space? And he relentlessly fuds down governance, and like I also like to follow people who propose solutions, although DJ Spartan's hilarious. But like, like he's right about this. It's like we've talked about how we talked about Noah's piece for Tally Content Guild. Our DAO's fake democracy is like voter participation is low, generally speaking. Like, the last 5 compound proposals had a 3% voter participation. And also, like, there's very unequal weighting of tokens. It's not one person, one vote. It's one token, one vote. And like the insiders of most protocols have a lot of the tokens. So what we're seeing here is an example of like the team voting, to not reimburse on a governance hack when maybe that wasn't necessarily what was in the best interests of the community. And yeah, it's, these issues are tough. Tribe's going through a lot right now. Like we're big fans of that DAO and that team. They're heavy users of Tally, like super awesome, provide feedback, like super talented, super smart team. But like there's a lot of, it's like bear market things, right? There's a lot of teams going through challenges and kind of work through it. And more, more of the same here.
Yeah, I think like kind of, if we're going to take anything away from this episode, and like, a lot of, bad shit is happening right now, and a lot of people are, not at their best mental state. So I think, like something you said, like when you follow Degen Spartan, right, you got to be aware of what you're following and what you're going to get from him. Also, I don't think it's, or her, depending on who it is. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I also think you need to be able to monitor your information diet on Twitter when it comes to DAOs. In both ways, right? You don't want to get too down, and you don't want to get too up. You want to not get in an echo chamber in either direction, right? You need as most nuanced discussion as possible, and I think that's an inherently good thing about decentralized work and this new wave that we're seeing, especially because a lot of people are getting laid off, and naturally they're flowing into DAOs, right? Kind of why we're so excited about DAO NYC. And I feel like I'm predicting, I don't know, nothing to go off except gut. Like next week is, everybody says like, oh, everybody's there for NFT NYC. I think everyone's there for DAO NYC. I think that's going to be the event of the week.
All the homies are going to DAO NYC.
It's going to be super refreshing, and a lot of really good connections and work and ideas are going to be shared and made up. So we're excited about that next week. And
it's gonna be like bear market vibes, but like in a very wholesome way, where it's like, cool, like we're here together, we're all still here. What are we gonna build?
Yeah, I think people want, we've talked about this over and over, but I think the deeper we get into the bear market, or just this time of where like everybody's kind of reflecting and making sure what the work they're doing is important, people are going to flow into DAOs, right? Because I think, or the DAOs that matter, right? I think a lot of the best, or most of the best talent within the space is organizing through a DAO, or around a company that is servicing DAOs, particularly like Tally. So let's end on a meme of the week. Frisson, I know you love this one.
Dude, Sassel, I'm like a Sassel stan. It's hilarious because he has the most wholesome like content in terms of what he does with his podcast and Discord. It's just like hardcore Ethereum, stuff. But he just is relentless shit poster on Twitter. It's an amazing combination, something I aspire to myself. But yeah. So I think we all put on our bear market glasses this week. ETH 2.0 magically morphed to ETH $20. I know, like, dude, it was insane, man. Like, I normally don't touch Twitter on the weekends, just mental health wise. But like, once I saw ETH go down like 20% on a Saturday, I was like, oh shit, I need to like see what's going on here and like make sure I don't get liquidated on anything and just like, get into my hodl mode. And dude, it's been savage for the past week, man. Like the ETH price action is just brutal.
Yeah, I saw a Frisson tweet on like a Saturday night, and I took a second. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." I thought he was deep in like a forest right now. No, you don't know. On the weekends,
I was in a forest of pain.
He packs his backpack and he just walks into the desert every weekend. Leaves his phone.
I know. I'm feeling out of place here in New York City. Like everybody's walking around doing culture things, looking fashionable, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah, normally it's just like me and the canyon walls. Yeah. Yeah.
So shorter episode. You have anything else to say to bookmark this until we meet again in person?
No, unironically, we're all going to make it. It's going to be okay. Buy some cheap ETH, not investment advice. You might need to sell some things, maybe you need to sell like your car, maybe a kidney, who knows? But whatever you can do to get some liquidity at this time is good. We should probably cut that part.
Yeah.
Not investment advice.
No, we're not cutting that part. Not investment advice. We'll say that.
Yeah. Only DAO. This is DAO advice. DAO advice only.
Just survive is what I'm learning, and I've heard that forever. And like this is my first like full cycle. Right, I got in up only, and now it's what is it? Down badly? Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. Down badly.
So I think it's just like survive. Find people that you mesh with and who are supportive, and if you need help, reach out. And
on God, you only need one organ. Think about that.
Okay. All right.
You only need one. God, you only need you only need one kidney. Like if you have two of any type of organ, like one of them is probably optional. No, for real. Like support each other. My DMs are open if you have questions. If you just need somebody to commiserate with, if you need help, like just let me know. We're got to be here for each other in the bear market.
For sure. So we'll see you next week. Live and in person for live DAO Talk. Also, if you're going to DAO NYC, hit us up when we're there. Hopefully, if you've actually watched us, you know what we look like. If not, just look for our voice, listen for our voices, and we're excited to connect with everyone and have a great time. So we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Peace.